well. I'm just getting everything set up. Hopefully this kicks in soon. Hey Cynthia, how are you? Hey Nicole. All right, I wound a bobbin and I got my thread in already. My bobbin winder in the machine is not working. It has one of those rubber wheels inside, but the part is back ordered. So I had purchased just like a cheap electric bobbin winder on Amazon, but it worked pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it. The reviews were hit or miss. So, hey Dad, how are you? Hey Liz, good to see you. Hi Lucy. All right. So I plan on doing my Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. It's the first month. So Cotton Cuts, I've talked about it a lot. I've done them a lot on my Tuesday night lives. But Cotton Cuts does a block of the month. They call it a Puzzle Mystery Quilt. And they do 2 every year, a spring one and a fall one. So their spring one just released the first Friday of February, and it's a 10-month process. Hey Arnetta, hey Cynthia. So I get my box all up front, which means I have all the clues ahead of time. This is an option if you prepay. Now that it started, I think you can only order, pay like by the month and they'll mail it out to you. But if you get it up ahead, they have, this is the important part I need. This is, tells me all my fabrics. And I need my clue one. All of them are labeled, so you can see like the different months. And then they have other fun things like, this is their Flat Nancy. So when you get done, you can take a picture and post it in their Facebook group and be entered to win a prize. They are doing this other little thing. They're collecting, I have to mail it back, the fabric in a shape of a star, and they're going to make, I don't know if they're going to make a wall or what they're doing with everybody that's participating. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but what I'm interested in is clue one. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I had told them, it's so fun, Liz. I really like quilting to break up bag making, and I've also really enjoyed, like, I enjoy making bags out of quilting cotton. So I also enjoy incorporating either quilting cotton, or I'll buy like cotton canvas and make my bags out of them. And when I had chosen colorways, I just told Cotton Cuts to pick for me. They allow the ambassadors to like send in their top choices. And so they gave me Awakening. This is like the little booklet that has your colorway. You choose your fabrics. You don't know how like the end design of the quilt will look, but you choose your fabric colorway that you like. And this is mine. All the fabrics are, it's A Song to Sing by Pam Selkirk. And I was pretty surprised because here they look kind of dark, but they're much more vibrant than what they showed on the screen or even on this printout. So I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to see. Gives me like a very retro vibes. And it has all the dates inside for when each clue releases. Yeah, I like switching up all the different crafts. It keeps me like entertained, and I don't get bored of any one thing. And why this is important is because everybody who's doing a size small, there's 2 sizes, small and large, has the, so small are the same instructions and the large are the same, but they give your instructions based on fabric, based on letters. So like A through F, and the back of the cards tell you which fabric. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and then the binding. So that's why I keep this out every single time, because otherwise I will mix up my fabrics. Oh, how's that been, Liz? I've never junk journaled. I I always have people recommend like journaling, especially like for my anxiety and stuff. But honestly, I hate writing. But I think I would like putting together the journal, but I probably would never end up using it. But they're so cool. I've seen different groups and people like you make them out of just like a variety of materials, right? Like I guess that's the idea of the junk, like you can make them out of anything. All right. Month one, they always give you a gift. So this month they gave, or at least in the boxes, mine included a pen. These are my favorite pens ever. They write so well. So I'm always excited when the gift is a pen. And then each month it tells you how many blocks. So there's 2 separate blocks, 4 of this one and 2 of the B. So these are the A blocks and these are the B. So at the end I'll label these. I have not filmed a tutorial yet, so I'm only gonna make, I'm gonna save one of each where I do a full-length tutorial so people who are new to the puzzle mystery quilts can follow along. On my Tuesday nights, I like to just do it like sewing and chatting with everybody. But because this is a new puzzle mystery quilt starting, there might be some new people joining or who are interested in it, so I'm kind of talking a little bit about it than more about it than I normally would. And so what I'm going to do is all your pieces are pre-cut. So I'm going to lay them out right here next to me so I can grab them in the order that they are shown. All right. So this is like a pale, like beigeish peach. That's my A fabric. Blue is B. The bright green is C, and then the darker green is F. So there's multiple sizes, multiple shapes. They will vary each month. And they'll tell you, if you are someone who likes to count, like they'll tell you how many pieces. I never check, I just start sewing. I have only had one time where they've included extra fabric instead of missing pieces. It can happen because they're putting together so many quilts, but you can if you're ever missing a piece, you can reach out to Cotton Cuts and they will obviously fix their error. All right. So I have everything laid out, and now the second part, it tells you exactly how to put them together and which way to press your seam. So that's what I'm going to be following along with. And like I said, there's 4 of the A block and 2 of B. So I'm going to make 3 of the A block tonight. Just so I like doing one on like a full-length tutorial and then the others on my live, just so I can keep up with it. And then when month 10 comes, I'm not like scrambling to put everything together. So Liz says she's been junk journaling. What else has everybody been working on? Have you been sewing or making everything? Behind the scenes, Jason and I have been very busy. I mentioned it on the last live, but we are 100% officially confirmed for vending at AQS in Hartford in April. So I'm really excited, but it's like AQS is a large sew. They're the ones that put on, it's the American Quilter Society. They're the ones that put on the show in Paducah every year, and they do one in Florida and Michigan. So this is their first time coming to Hartford, and so there's going to be a lot of big companies and stuff. So we're working on our like packaging and stuff, trying to make sure it looks nice for display. Cynthia doing diamond art. My niece had her diamond art club today. Oh, Arnetta, you never dug out your car? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we went to visit my parents this weekend in Connecticut, and they said, oh, you're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches of snow, and the storm shifted and they ended up getting another 8 inches. So there's like pretty much almost like 2 feet of snow at my parents'. So we had all these plans to like visit people and run errands, and that didn't happen. We saw some family, but not as many as we expected. Aw, that's nice, Lucy. I hope you feel better though. I have made one swoon bag for the baby bell bag for my cousin's um, daughter, and I struggled so much with the drop-in lining that I ended up binding it, and I was sewing on this machine, and it ended up being like where the pockets are, like 12 layers or something that it was going through. But this machine pushed through. Anything that I can fit under this presser foot, it will sew through. Oh, Liz, I'm jealous of that warm weather. Liz, did you end up getting snow when the big storm went through down south, though? Did you get that? It's raining in California. Yeah, tonight we're supposed to get freezing rain, it said, but more after midnight. So we'll see. Today it was only in the 30s. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to get 40, which I hope so, to melt some of the snow. That, and I'm doing school visits, so I hope it's warm out. Oh, you know what, Lucy? I should look. Thank you for recommending them. I'm gonna watch her video and see about how she did it to birth it, because the drop-in, I struggle a lot with drop-in linings, but I also really struggle with like diagrams, and I was could not figure it out for myself. So I ended up just binding everything just to make it work. Yeah, it was like I said, the outside pockets, I think it was 12 layers, and I had trimmed them in vinyl, but I did use what's it called? The fold over elastic to bind it, which I really like fold over elastic as binding because of the stretch in it. I use that a lot in bags. Oh no, Nicole. I hope that that doesn't mean like bad fires come the warmer weather for you guys. Oh, hold on. Our cat Hunter needs to go out. Let me let him out the room. It's okay. We adopted a cat last May, and he came from a animal hoarding home of like 30 cats, and so he's very skittish, and he lets us pet him now, but he has like this whole routine where you have to like let him sniff you, and then he'll put his head down, and he has recently discovered that he likes to lay in my closet in here, and so he was scratching to say let him out. I guess I was disturbing his sleep with all my talking. Oh wow, Lucy, what kind of industrial does she have? Yeah, this is a Singer from, I think when I looked up the year, it's like 1981 or 1982. And all the gears inside are pretty much metal. I think there's one that's like plastic. And as long as I can put the fabric underneath this machine, underneath the presser foot, it will sew through it. It's so strong, I even like punched through one time through like the metal plate down here. Oh wow, 1541. Yeah, those are nice machines. This machine doesn't really skip stitches. Where I will have trouble with vinyl is even sometimes with the Teflon foot, it wants to like stick and the stitches will end up being close together. All right. So I'm just pressing these all open. It's telling me towards the C fabric, which is this bright green. I have here in New York, we have a lot of holidays off, and next week is our February break from school. So I'm hoping to get a lot of sewing done. I have a lot on my to-do list, and at the top of that to-do list is I really want to finish writing this pattern that I have been working on for, like, honestly, probably a year and a half now. Bonded nylon pocket binding and piping and vinyl. Oh yeah, that's a lot. Especially because the bonded nylon has that bonded layer, so that gives it a little bit of thickness too. When I was making it, I was using quilting cotton, so I did interface it with SF101, but that itself still isn't as thick as the bonded nylon. I'm also really excited. I don't know. I don't know if it was last week. I don't know if it was before or after my live, but we ordered 11 more zipper tapes. 3 of them are restocks, like 2 of them are our over the rainbow. One of them is our black with green teeth. But the other 8 are all brand new colors. So I'm really excited. I know I had mentioned before we have a bonded nylon, or we call it the Majestic nylon, that we have a shipment that will be coming in, and now we'll have a whole bunch of new zipper tapes as well to match them. Hey Janet! Yeah, so here in New York, we're pretty lucky. We get the whole week off in February, always President's Week, or, the week of President's Day. And we always get a April vacation. The April vacation, I believe it usually falls the week of Passover. So yeah, the April one rotates around. Sometimes or I guess I should say spring, because sometimes it's in March, sometimes it's in April. It depends when Passover falls. And this year it's kind of a long April vacation. We get from Holy Thursday all the way through the following week. And actually that's how we are able to vend at AQS in April, because it just happens to fall the week during my my spring vacation, spring break. That's one of the biggest struggles with going to the different craft shows and vendor shows and such, is that it either has to fall during summer or during a school vacation. With the threads with clear vinyl, yeah, this one I use a Teflon foot, but even with clear vinyl, sometimes I do have trouble. I have found that the best thing for clear vinyl is I put parchment paper under like my presser foot, and it can be a little bit trying to make sure you have like an accurate seam allowance. So sometimes I'll tear it in like really small strips so it only fits underneath the presser foot. But parchment paper has helped it helped it glide really well for me. And parchment paper is also so much easier to rip out of your stitches. I see a lot of people recommend tissue paper, and when I was first starting to sew, I tried that, and tissue paper was such a nightmare to get out of my stitches. So I have switched to parchment paper, and because it's a little bit thicker, the stitches perforate it, and it tears away really, really nicely. Oh man, I didn't realize I just got rid of the chat. There we go. Yeah, Lucy, that's how ours falls this year, and it's really great. It's always hit or miss depending on the holidays, how long our breaks end up being. Our December break, because of how Christmas fell and New Year's, ended up being rather long as well. Yeah, Liz, a lot of people recommend tissue paper, and I oh, I see you scratch that. Yeah, for me, it got stuck and it was a nightmare. Like I had to take tweezers, and every single little stitch I had to rip it out of. Where the parchment paper kind of created like a perforated line and just peeled away so much better. Oh, I've seen the roller foots. The brother machine that I started sewing on, I had bought a plastic like snap-on foot, but that machine didn't really have the strength to go through vinyl, so I never really ended up using the roller foot. Oh my gosh, Liz, you had almost 4 weeks for a break at Christmas? That's a really long time. It's like a hamster wheel roller foot. That's actually really cool. I'm gonna go on their website and check it out. Is it for a domestic machine or is it for a industrial? I was looking at sewing parts online. They're the they're the company that I was looking at that has the replacement part for the bobbin winder that I need, and all these feet twist on, like I have to tighten them. But I found this thing that they had where you could switch it out for like the snap-on feet, and they had like a case of like 20 different feet, and one of them was for like binding and one was for ruffling, and I was debating about I might purchase it and see how they work, because there was just so many other options that I didn't even know existed. Because right now this is my regular foot. I have the zipper foot and a Teflon foot, but these are just the three. And I have a walking foot, but I don't ever really use it for this one, even with quilting. Liz, that's funny because my sister felt the same way in December, and it was only like a week and a half. My dad and I and my mom are helping babysit because my sister doesn't get the week off, and yeah, I think we were all ready for them to be back in school. But as a teacher, I love the long breaks. The other thing that does kind of stink about getting the breaks as a teacher is great, but because of them being during the holiday weeks, it's always so pricey to travel. Like I was looking at different like cruises and stuff, and it's like the price doubles during the week of President's Week and that Easter Passover week. just making sure that I have these all lined up properly. I like laying them all out on my pressing mat first, just making sure that I'm folding them the correct way. I don't want to, so many times I've accidentally aligned them and then I end up having to seam rip them apart. Oh, that's so cool, Liz. I've been looking at them. I want one to make like the zipper jigs. Like I was thinking about it for like to be able to sell the zipper jigs at the convention and stuff. But it seems like so much to learn. Like I find them very intimidating. I always look at them in person too. When we go to Micro Center, they have a whole display of all the different 3D printers that they carry. I'd be having them make me all sorts of sewing stuff. Yeah. Growing up, my mom worked in the school. She still does. She's a paraprofessional. So she always had the time off with us, so she didn't have to worry about it. But like my sister, she doesn't work in a school. So I imagine that it's really hard with families and stuff finding care during those breaks. And then, all right, this is why I double checked. The seams get pressed. In my brain, I'd want to press the seams outward, but they get pressed inward. And I always recommend following the pressing instructions because the way it's written, all the seams end up nesting and just come together so nicely. Oh, that's good to know. I guess I was like looking at all the different types of what is it called? Not is it filament? Is that the correct word for like the plastic that goes through the 3D printers? It just seemed like there was a lot of options. Hi Carolyn, thanks for joining in. So this is a Singer 5528. It's mostly like all metal. It's from the early 1980s. I think it's like 1981 or 1982. It's really not that loud, and I don't find that it vibrates the table. I live in New York City in an apartment, and my neighbors haven't complained, so yeah. And I guess that's good to know that it's not too loud on the channel as well. Oh, good, Nicole. That's good to know. Yeah, the pattern writer, her name is Sheila Christensen, and she is out of New Zealand. And so she has a Facebook group called Mystery Quilters. So Cotton Cuts does the puzzle mystery quilt here in the United States, but she has people, I know there's some companies in England and a few other places that also carry her mystery quilts. And she's a fantastic pattern writer, and all the seams nest. Like a puzzle mystery quilt is actually how I learned to quilt. And I feel like I'm spoiled by it because all the pieces are cut for you, like everything's labeled. The instructions are so clear. They put these little arrows, they tell you which way to press your seams. Like it's so, they make it so easy for you that I felt like as a newbie quilter, it was perfect. Oh my gosh, Nicole, that is so funny. I can't even imagine trying to press a large quilt. Like I always press my seams as I go. I'm very bad about, like, I would not want to wait till afterwards or try to smush them all down. I do want to eventually get a clapper. I always say that because sometimes when the seams start getting too long, they want to like fold back on themselves. And I think that wooden clapper would definitely help flatten them out. All right, Liz, good chatting with you. I'm really liking these colors coming together. Like I said, they're a lot more vibrant than I expected. Each puzzle mystery quilt, I like to either challenge myself or pick a new colorway, or I've done a few where I've had other ambassadors choose for me. So this time I had Cotton Cuts pick for me, and I'm quite happy with it. There's some colorways that will sell out in minutes. Usually like the Tula Pink one. This time the Tula Pink I don't believe has sold out. It's her gray work or gray, the one that's like black and gray and white and then has the pops of color. I think there's like 4 or 5 colorways that are sold out for this one, but there's a few left. I know this one is still available. And what's nice too is there's usually like 10 to 12 options. So I find that there's usually a colorway for everybody. They offer batiks, they offer the regular quilting cottons, and they all tend to fall within like the modern quilt aesthetic. If that is your thing, which it is for me, I love bright. All right, so now I'm basically making kind of like the same thing, just different, more flying geese, just different fabrics. I also love these because there's some nights where I just want to sew, but I don't feel like cutting or prepping or anything like that. So these are perfect for, you just literally take them out of the package and they're ready to go. Oh, I can imagine. I love sewing the batik, the flyaway quilt that we just finished was all batiks that I did, and I noticed a huge difference even just sewing them on the sewing machine. Like they didn't shift as much, and I feel like my seams were almost perfect. So I imagine that with the hand quilting it really helps as well. I'm terrible at hand sewing, like getting the knot and starting it. I hand sewed the baby books, like the openings where that I've also sewed up on my Tuesday, and that was like a 3-inch opening on each page, and that about tested my limits of hand sewing. But I know a lot of people like doing the English paper piecing like while they're watching TV, or it's really good if you're on the go. I've been doing a lot of crocheting from the couch. I'm excited. The Winter Olympics are on. I love watching the Olympics. So we've been tuned into that for the last few days. That's so cool, Nicole. Like I wish I had learned to sew from my meme. She could So anything on a machine, and she did like hand sewing for hemming. She was like a professional. Like you couldn't see a hem. I tell people, like, you do not want me hemming your clothes. You'll end up with like one leg shorter than the other. But I wish that I had an interest in sewing when I was younger and I could learn from her. I don't know why. I guess it's the color. I keep thinking every time I look at this, I think of like a sliced olive, even though they're not blue. But I think it's the green color. I'm curious to see which color kind of dominates the quilt. Usually there's one fabric that there's more of than the other. So there's a lot of greens in this one. But I guess there's two blues too. So it's always cool like seeing the different blocks each month and trying to guess how they will be put together. This in each puzzle mystery quilt has a theme. So this one's called Field of Dreamers. So that whatever the title is inspires the like the overall look. And what's cool is that the small and the large will look similar, where the large is basically an expansion of the design of the small. The reveals are always in April and I think it's October. So actually, let me see. I'll tell you. Or November, the first week of November. So this one won't be done till November 6th. The Under the Sea one I'm working on right now will be done in April. And I just love the reveals because even though you're sewing up the same quilt pattern, depending on your colorway, the quilts can look so different at the end. Some will have like higher contrast, so different elements stick out compared to others. So it's always really neat. And there's quite a few ambassadors, so they don't always reveal every single colorway, but most of them have an ambassador or someone sewing it up at Cotton Cuts, or Sheila always unveils a colorway that she sews up herself as well. Step away. Yeah, I like vinyl bags, but I find them really intense to make. And my personal favorites to carry have quilting cotton or cotton canvas and a combination of cork. I love that combo. So those are my favorite personally to sew. And I just find you can get so much variation with the different fabrics. How do you finish your quilt? So here's a funny story. I have not finished a quilt myself. I have a stack that I want to send to a long armor. I have some I've bought bamboo batting, and I have bought Shannon Minky, but I have to actually send them out and get them done. There's one that I have basted together that I told myself that I was going to hand sew, and I did one block, and that was a lot. So I don't know if that will ever get finished hand sewn. That might have to go to a long armor. There is a couple named Matt and Brittany that I have met through the sewing community. They're like the sweetest couple ever, and they just started a long arming business out of South Carolina. I believe their company's called Red Truck Quilting. They're on Instagram. So when I had seen them at Mormino at the so whatever weekend, and they were just getting their long arm, and so they've started taking like customer quilts. So I plan on reaching out to her to get some to get some finished, because I do not think that I have the capacity or like the will to try to finagle them to quilt them on this domestic machine. Yeah, I'm completely self-taught with sewing. Crafts pretty much too. The only thing that my dad taught me crochet, but I taught myself cross stitch. I taught myself this, all the stuff that I did with the Cricut machine. Yeah, there's there's a gentleman actually in my neighborhood who also does long arm quilting. I don't know him personally. I just follow him on Instagram because one time I was looking for long armers, but I've not reached out to him. And then once Brittany and Matt told me that they are starting their business, and what is big for me is I love the look of quilting cotton on the top, like pieced together, but I don't like quilting cotton against my skin. So all my blankets, I like minky. Like I did finish a puff quilt myself, but that was because I tied it instead of like sewing between the different puffs. And that was backed with Shannon Minky. So in order for a quilt, for me to use a quilt, it has to have that soft, fluffy backing. Yeah, Cynthia, I would you're in Pennsylvania, so I there's a lot of sewists in Pennsylvania. I would look at your local quilt store to see if they offer the long arming or can recommend someone to you. And then what's cool with that is you can choose if you want it like custom quilted or if you do the pantographs. I was gonna call them pantones. Pantones are colors, but for the design. And I love the idea that you could have different designs that are just stitched into the quilt that might match your fabrics or whatnot. Nicole, I need to try that. You have mentioned the fireside before, but I need to purchase some so I can feel it. I'm sure I would love it because I need that softness. And the way how cold this winter's been, oh my gosh. I keep my puff quilt on the couch all year long, and I feel like this winter I've just been living underneath it. And the puff quilt I made is heavy as well because when I was making the puffs, I did not stuff them with the polyfill. I stuffed them with cotton stuffing. So the cotton weighs more than the polyfill. So it's kind of heavy too. When my niece came to visit, she fell in love with it. It was such a pain to tie between every single puff. It's like, I think it's like 15 across, or 15 puffs long and like 14 across or something like that. It works out to be, I would say like a large throw. Like I'm 5'2" and it can cover like my feet to my chin. And, but I'm glad that I took the time to tie it because I can just throw it in the washing machine and not worry about it coming apart or anything like that. It actually washes really nicely. Ooh, I'd probably say that boucle. Am I saying that right? I'm not sure. I've never heard of that. Where do I find that one, Nicole? It's funny because when I started sewing, I didn't think I would ever do quilting, um, because I didn't like the feel of the cotton. My mom has a lot of quilts at home, but she's very into like the country primitive aesthetic, and they're mostly display. Like they were not meant to be used. And it wasn't till I discovered like Tula Pink and all these bright colors, and then I really fell in love with quilting. Okay, boucle. All right, I was saying it correctly. Mimi fabrics for clothing. Okay, is it a like a polyester, like a natural fiber, or a like man made? I'm gonna have to check it out. Because for clothing, the only ones that I've really bought for clothing, I have a bunch of cotton lycra and a bunch of the bamboo lycra or bamboo spandex, whatever they call it. I love bamboo for the feel of clothes. All right, perfect. So now I have this long strip here and this long strip that I've already done, and I am sewing them together. Let me, and because there's the seams to match up, I am definitely going to clip them. So I'm gonna put them, I always put them right sides together and then pull it closer to myself. And like I said, it makes it so easy because now these seams are nested. So I'll just clip my seams first and then go from there. Although I said that, and this is, I don't know if I shifted this one. I think I might have like varied my seam allowance on this one. This one might not line up so perfectly, but that's another thing with quilting. I'm just, if it doesn't line up so perfect, I don't stress it too much. Especially once the quilt is all together, I feel like for the most part it will just blend in. Now I'm just lining up all along the edge. And then one thing I need to make sure is, because I can't, or at least I don't think I can adjust the presser foot pressure. So sometimes it likes to flip the seams back on me. So I like to just double check when I get close to them that the bottom is not accidentally getting folded back on itself. Oh, that sounds so cozy. I love hoodies. I live in sweatshirts. Like this one that I'm wearing came from More Me Know, but it's not a hoodie. But usually my go-to, especially in wintertime, is a hoodie. This one lines up a little bit better. That first one, I don't know, I had to kind of stretch the fabric to match up the seam. So it definitely had some wiggle on me. It would probably help if I put the walking foot on this, but I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with it when I had it on here. I used to use the walking foot mostly when I have made blankets with like double-sided, like 2 layers of minky and then put them together, turn them. But now that I have a serger, I like to serge my blankets instead. These are quite long. It's always interesting to me. Sometimes the blocks are smaller each month. Sometimes they're larger. Some months you'll use all the different fabrics. Other months there might only be like 3 or 4 of the different colors of the fabrics. It's always a surprise. I used to clip everything together when I first started. Now I only clip them when they're long like this. Oh, that's cool, Arnetta. There's so many different fabrics and fibers. It's so fascinating to me, and I love learning about it from everyone. I went into Mood once in the city, and oh my gosh, they had so many sections of fabric that I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I'm just making sure that I am laying these out correctly so that way when I press them open, they'll be going the correct direction. Arnetta, I know that you do a lot of like the knitting for donations. Do you pass out the stuff yourself, or do you donate them to like an agency or something that that distributes them? This is the first one. So this is the one that it really didn't line up that well, but they're not too bad now that they're actually sewn together. And we're almost done with this block. I have one more. We have to add one more strip to the bottom of this one. Yeah, they go together really quickly, especially like because I'm batch sewing them and I'm doing all 3 at once. So, and it would probably be quicker if I wasn't doing it live and talking through it, because then I got to think about what I'm saying and what I'm doing. But yeah, they come together really, really quickly. So it's nice if you also are like a busy person or don't have a lot of time to sew. I know a lot of people who have young kids say it also works out well for them. I know, Nicole, and it's only the first month, so we still have 9 more months until we see it. But the Under the Sea one, the one that's pink with like the Halloween fabric, that one finishes up the end of April, so only 2 more months for that one. So I'm really excited for that. Oh, that's really cool, Arnetta. In my hometown, they have kind of like where I grew up is a super small town. There's probably honestly like more people in my neighborhood, like a 5-block radius where I live now in New York, than my hometown. they renovated this little park in the center of town, and people have donated crocheted or knit items, and they wrap them up nicely in like plastic wrapping, and they like clip them there, so anybody who's like walking by or needs one can go and just take it. And it's really nice. It's cool to see them, being used and getting restocked. All right, so I have to add the strip to the bottom. I'm not gonna clip it. I'm just lining it up with the edge, and I'm just gonna keep it aligned as I sew. When I get to the seam though, that is where I'm gonna be mindful that they're facing the correct direction. I love this blue. I am a big fan of teals. Usually I like the more towards the green, but this color is just so pretty. Oh, I'll have to check, Cynthia. I haven't gotten, or at least I didn't get a notice yet for this month. The last one I chose was a moose one for the book. I have not sewn the moose one up yet. I have to do that because I need one more book for my colleague who had a little boy in December. December? Yeah. She's not back to work yet, but I haven't seen her. So when she comes back from maternity leave, I'm going to give her her gift. I have a crocheted blanket. I mentioned my grandma. She crochets baby blankets. So I have one of them. I have the book that I made, and I got a real book and a couple other things to put in there. But I think the fabric books are so cute. It makes such a nice gift. You chose a fox one? Cool. I'm gonna have to look. Yeah, I like that Cotton Cuts had the option where you could choose. Yeah, I'm excited to sew up the moose one because it was kind of like the bunny one that I sewed first, and it has like, instead of rabbit ears, this one has like moose antlers. So I thought that's kind of cute how it sticks out from the top of the fabric books. In the next couple months, probably once March starts, I'll probably on some of my Tuesday night lives be cutting out some kits for bags. I plan on, when we vend in April, having some kits for the willow wristlet and the winter crescent bag. So that's my plan for some of the Tuesday night lives. Because it can be so tedious cutting them all apart, but I have to wait. I want to make them out of the fabrics that we have coming in, because I want to do it out of the Majestic nylon, which is like the bonded nylon, so that way I don't have to worry about interfacing and stuff. Do Cotton Cuts have baby quilts? I don't believe so. I know they sell some quilt patterns, but I think you would have to look and just see if any offer like a baby size. Yeah, the cuddle books are a new option that that they just added in this year. Yay. So this is the first block. So it'll be labeled 1A. I'm really excited. These look nice. Just, again, making sure that I'm pressing the blue fabric to the correct direction. Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record, but I can't believe how much more vibrant in person they are. It makes me so happy. I mean, I like the colors too, but I thought it was much more of like that darker 60s green, but it's really not. They're really more vibrant. Thanks. So Cotton Cuts has included this time in their box like little labels that you can clip on that say like 1A, 1B for each of the blocks. I usually just put a sticky note. So like this here, I need 4 of them, so I'll have one more that I'll record, but I'll label these 1A, and then I'm going to do 1B real quick, which I'm excited about because I don't know how well it shows through, but it almost looks like a star. So I'm really like, I know it's only month 1, but I always try to think about what the final quilt will look like, and I wonder if there's going to be some star looking aspects to this quilt. Because the theme is Field of Dreamers. So it looks, and each time there's like a little different like symbol, and it looks like a little person laying in a field looking up. So I'm like, are they looking up at nighttime? All right, so section B only has 2, so I'm gonna make one of them real quick. So that should go pretty quick. This one's not a big block at all either. And another thing that I like is that this one has some colorways, the fabrics look similar, but this one there's not. They don't look similar, so it's not as easy to confuse. And I'm doing step 1 and 2 at the same time, just because they're both half square triangles. I like seeing my progress each time I do a new quilt, because I'm thinking back to when I first started these, and I would have had to do like all of step 1, then all of step 2. And now, especially in the tutorials, I still do it that way. But for these, this is getting sucked down. For these, I will combine them and just make it quicker. That's the one thing about the triangle points, is that sometimes they want to get sucked down into the feed dogs. And I know I can use like leader pieces for fabric to help pull them through. But I find it just so tedious to have to cut that piece off. And it doesn't happen so often. I usually try to put my needle down and hold my threads to kind of alleviate that problem. Okay, there we go. With how nicely these are cut, it makes me want to get like the Acu quilt, where it's like the dies that cut out the pieces. I have the Cricut Air, but it's not very good with quilting cottons. They're supposed to be, you have to bond them. I mostly use the Cricut Air for vinyl like accent pieces, like zipper, what is it called? Like zipper overlays and such. I don't know. I've seen other quilting YouTubers use them. So I don't know. I guess they work for people, but for me, the less steps or the less things that I have to do, the better. And just having to cut that extra leader piece, even though it's just like, one snip with the scissors, is just one more step that I'd rather not do. Oh yeah, I have another quilt that I'm making. I don't think my dad's listening anymore. He usually cuts out early. But I've been working on a quilt for my mom for a really long time. And there's so many pieces that I have labeled. There's like, I think A through I different pieces, and I've labeled every single one of them. I might do them one Tuesday, that block on one of these Tuesdays, but it's so tedious because you have to draw the lines in. And then one thing about cotton cuts, because they do the die cutting, I don't trim any of my blocks. They just fit together so nicely. But with this quilt, because it's just following a pattern, you have to trim down the blocks, or they don't, or the pieces before you put them together into the large block. I have 3 more. I think I've made nine blocks of that quilt, and I have 3 more to go. For that one, well, so next week I had mentioned is my February break from school. So I don't know what our plans are, so I don't know if I will be on Tuesday night. But maybe if I am on Tuesday night or the following, I'll work on that. Show you guys that quilt that I'm working on. That one is done in Kansas Troubles fabric by Moda. So it's that primitive country fabric, which my mom, I know, is going to love. And that one I'll end up backing in just like a matching quilting cotton, because she won't use it as a blanket like to cuddle under. It will be a display. Like growing up, we always went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for the Amish, and she always stops. Like, we have so much furniture and decorations and quilting, so it will fit right in with all the stuff she likes. I am absolutely atrocious at cutting out quilting cotton pieces for quilting. I'm not bad with bags. Like, I'll just use the rotary cutter. But quilting cotton and trying to get it so precise, I'm not very good. That's why I like using like the jelly rolls, the charm squares, things that are already done for you. Oh, I didn't realize I gotta make 2 of these. Oh well, let me do another one before I forget. I do want to go visit, but in Connecticut, they don't get the whole week off from school. So I do plan on going to visit. I'm just not sure when. We have a couple fun things planned. Like, we're going to go to a concert on Friday here in New York. We have season passes to the New York Botanical Garden, which is in the Bronx. And right now they just opened up their orchid show. So I would like to go see that as well. So I know we want to do some things, like some fun things local that, we haven't done yet. There's a few museums that we want to check out. I forgot the name of it. I'd have to look it up. But there's a couple of museums right now that have quilting, I can't think right now, sorry. That have quilting displays, or exhibits. So I'd like to go check them out. Oh, that's funny. We love Lancaster. Growing up as a kid, because I grew up in Connecticut, a lot of our vacations were either like Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, like to the mountains, um, or to Pennsylvania. We would do like Hershey Park and Lancaster and you know, like that area. They have this I don't I don't know if you would call it a flea market, but it's a market called the Green Dragon, and they still have it. I went a few years ago. Oh my gosh, there's all sorts of like furniture and livestock, but there is so much good food. My mom is obsessed with the whoopie pies, so we go and get them, and oh my god, there's candy and every kind of regular pie, and it's really cool. If you ever go to Lancaster, go on a weekend so you can check out the Green Dragon. All right. I'm glad I'm paying attention because I grabbed a this is where it gets tricky. Like I grabbed a B fabric and I actually need a C square for this one. It's so easy to accidentally switch around fabrics. I don't know in Flyway that I did that had like the fall colors. I always flipped around the orange and the yellow whenever I needed them. I thought like because they label them by letter and they were like fabric C and D, and I always flip flop them, which is why I keep this little reference card near me every single month. All right. This is coming together, like you said, really quick. I'm excited because this means I'll make the video for the tutorial. This just released on Friday. I don't like to release my full-length tutorial the day the clue releases because whatever day it releases is usually the day that Cotton Cut ships the monthly. So sometimes people who get the monthly deliveries feel like left out or their clue didn't get there quick enough. Not realizing the mail can take kind of a lot of time. So I always release my tutorial like a week later or 2 weeks later. That's another thing I have planned for February break. I have not filmed a lot of bag making tutorials. They take a lot of time, and I film each step and edit them quite in depth using Adobe Premiere. And it takes a lot of time. So I'm hoping that during my February break, I can catch up with some filming. Because I've been doing a lot of the lives, which I'm glad about. That was one of my goals for this year, is to be consistent with the Tuesdays. So I really look forward to chatting with everybody and catching up for the week. That's another thing during the week is I'm taking another teaching exam. There's different ones for like your license, and I had finished classes. I talked about it in December for, I've already done the principal, but there's one for like superintendent. So I have to took the class, and now I have to take that exam. So I have to schedule that. And they only have certain testing windows, like every 2 months. And then there's like a 2-week window that you can sign up. So that falls during break too. Yeah, I with bags, black bag. I think you know what it is. It's winter time. with the colors. My mom is always like, I'll have a very bright colored bag and she'll be like, you know, it's winter. She's definitely one of those people who think like bright colors are summer only. Um, I I I don't know if I'm not necessarily burnt out with bags. I just I do not have any cut out, and I have not cut them out because I really want to finish writing the tutorial that I have right now. And I know if I cut out bags, I'll keep putting off that tutorial. But that part is so tedious. It's like you have to take the pictures and write the instructions and then edit the photos and insert them in. And I'm very particular about it and making sure the layout looks okay. And that's why I'm hoping during the break I can just take like a whole day and only have to worry about that and get that done. I feel like once I get that done, then I'll sew up some more bags just for fun. Yeah, the bag of the month is so cool. I'm not part of bag of the month, but I really love K-Dill Handmade's bag that just released for January. So I cannot wait for April. I think it's April when she can release that as an independent pattern because I will totally be buying about that. Yeah, me neither, Janet. I will wear colors all year long. I don't think about it. I just make whatever makes me happy and brings me joy. Well, I don't enjoy making wallets a lot. I find them very tedious. And my favorites are crossbody bags. All right, so that finishes up the second block. So this one came together really quick. Also because I only had to make one, but you can see what I mean. I definitely think that in the next 8-9 months, there's going to be a piece here. I really think there's going to be stars in this one. Yeah, I agree, Janet. Wallets are probably my least favorite too. I love making sling bags, but I don't use sling bags. But something about like their design, I really enjoy sewing them up. Yeah, same with you. Yeah, tote bags. I love tote bags for work. I actually use well, it depends where I'm going. If I'm carrying a lot of stuff, I use like a regular school backpack. But if I'm doing classroom observations, I use a Tuesday tote. And it's like perfect for my iPad and just the smaller stuff that I need. A crescent bag. Yes, I love crescent bags. I have a pattern called the winter crescent, which is a little tricky because the D-rings are sewn in and there's a zipper instead of a magnetic closure, so it makes it a little bit different. It's kind of like, you got to think of it like a box corner. But I love that bag for concerts where I don't need a certain size, and then it kind of just, I make them out of like quilting cotton or the bonded nylon and just like molds to my leg. All right, well, I am going to hop off here. I am going to put these in the bag so I don't lose them. I will post on social media and let you know. Like I said, I don't know if I will be on Tuesday. It really depends how it works out, what we end up doing for my school break. But if not, I will definitely be on in 2 weeks to continue with the Tuesday nights. So thank you guys all for joining in. Like I said, I really, really look forward to it. It makes me so happy, and I really enjoy catching up with everyone, hearing what you're all working on and whatnot. It keeps me inspired. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll either see you next week or in 2 weeks. Good night, everyone.